Hey everyone, I'm Chris Yee, and welcome to the Dice Tower. Today I'm going to be taking a look at my top 10 Breach Mages from the Aeon's End series. I'm going to be looking at the base game and of course the expansion, but I won't be talking about Aeon's End Legacy, because that's where you get to craft your own Breach Mage, and so Malbus McBoomstick would definitely be my number one, so let's look at the prefab ones that come in all of the games. So here's my number 10, Mist, from the original set. This is Mist here with her Garnet Shard. This card, her special card, is super basic. Gain 1 ether, 1 money, or cast any player's prepped spell at the beginning of the game. That's not really that good, but later in the game that can be, kind of important to be able to cast a spell out of sequence and, be able to finish off a nemesis, finish off a minion or a nemesis, kind of before their time really would be. But I really like her ability. With 5 charges, she can make any ally draw 4 cards. That is always useful, but it's really good to save it for when there's like a really big clincher moment, like when you need a certain amount of ether to be able to get rid of a really bad nemesis card or something, and everyone draws up and they're just 1 card shy or 1 money shy or something like that. Or if you just really need a big turn to be able to finish off, this is super useful, consistently good. I really like Mist. Here's my number 9, Janna, from the Outcast set. She's one of the starting ones here. You'll see that she has 2 of these Glyph Carver cards, which are either gain 1 money, or place a glyph token on top of any card pile. So these glyph tokens are special things that she gets to put out on top of any set, and then when another player, an ally, purchases a card from there, Janna gets to gain a card that costs 3 or less from any pile, or play... what is this? You may cast, that's the word, cast or play out one of your prepped spells, gain a charge, focus your breach with the lowest cost. This is a really interesting way to make the game feel more cooperative, where she's setting out these little bonuses for herself onto supply piles, and then players will be purchasing a card. This goes back to her, and she gets whatever the benefit is. So that's kind of neat, right? And then she also can place 2 glyphs from here, when she uses her main thing here, as well as Gravehold gaining life. I like those support characters who heal and they give Gravehold life back and stuff, but I just really prefer the ones that have some other little niche to them. So Janna from the Outcast set is my number 9. My number 8 is Lash from the original set. Lash here has a special card. The thing is to kind of mess with the turn order deck, so you'll notice here, right? The special card is gain 1 ether, 1 money, but you can gain a second one if when you reveal the top card of the turn order deck, if it's a player card, you get an additional $1, 1 ether. So that's super lucky, but I do like things that get you something, give you a little extra purchasing power at the beginning of the game, plus it's always worth the 1, so that's a fine starting card. But this ability here, when you spend the 5 charges to be able to shuffle any player's turn order card back into the deck for 1 damage to that player, is, to me, pretty much always worth it. I really like that because sometimes you need one of the characters to get another turn, hopefully sooner, to unleash a barrage of spells or to be able to purchase something or whatever. So I really like that. Very fun to play with. My number 7 is Ku. This is Ku's second appearance. There's, I guess, there is an earlier version of him, that's right. This is the second appearance of it, and slightly different. So you'll see that what Ku has for just 4 charges, draw 3 cards. That's neat. Like I said earlier, there's not a lot of drawing card opportunities in this game. I also appreciate when the Breach Mages have different costs for their things, especially when they're cheaper instead of more expensive. But this Call of the Void card is so strange. I really like it. Well prepped. The first time you play a gem or relic that costs 1 or more each turn, play that card twice, then return it to the supply pile. So you can do some really big things with this, and it ended up being really fun to have kind of in the mix because you could really pull off huge purchases and stuff. But that money card that you're spending goes right back to the supply pile, but you're basically returning it for better stuff, and if you play it well, this is a super fun card. Ku does start with 2 open breaches, so you could start with this out and just leave it out for the entire game, and it ends up being a really fun little system. I like these Breach Mages that almost have their own way of playing the game, and you'll see a few more of that. So that's my number 7, Ku. My number 6 is Mist, again, but this is from the War Eternal set. So in the first one that you saw, my number 10, was Mist from the original. And so this, story-wise, some kooky stuff has happened to her, and she's different now, or whatever. But I like her, I like this version. It feels significantly different, right? It costs 6 charges. and you can cast up to 3 prepped spells by any players, and then return those cards into allies' hands. That's really cool because there are, when you cast a spell, it goes to your discard pile. So this, you can cast really powerful spells, get them back into hands, get them out several turns sooner than you otherwise would. That's neat. But I find that I use this quite often. Her special card, the Amethyst Paragon. Fancy words, but gain 1 money. Any ally may prep a spell from their hand to an opened or closed breach. That is so cool because, once again, early in the game, you just have nothing but the sparks. But once you start getting really powerful spells, this allows players to have fewer opened breaches because you can put cards into unopened ones. Now, it's only once every shuffle or so, but that still makes a huge difference. And for that reason, I find Mist 2nd edition or whatever very fun to play with. My number 5 is Nook. Now this is from the New Age set, and I don't have that available, so that's why I've superimposed it here on the screen, right? But you can see Nook only has 1 breach, 1 possible breach to open. I guess their story is something very different. They're damaged in some way, and they can't cast from the typical manner. But check out this unique card. He has 2 copies of the Mystic Orb, which lets him gain a charge, and then cast a spell from hand. That is so powerful and so fun to be able to do. This is one of those characters, like I said, that plays the game in almost a completely different cadence, which I really like. But you have to return that card to the supply pile. You can spend a charge to get a lower level card. So you want to stack the market with like a 7, then a 6, then a 4, then a 3 cost spell card type of thing. So you can kind of just rain down, trickle down the cost or so. And then also the charge ability is pretty fun, destroying cards from hand. And then gaining $4 that you can use to purchase a spell directly into your hand, which works well with the Mystic Orb. And then also the fact that you can trash cards. Last time I played with Nook, I got down to a 7-card deck by trashing things so consistently and just being able to just plow through powerhouse spells repeatedly. I really like Nook. I really like using his charges. Super fun. So that was my number 5, Nook. Same thing here with my number 4, Gygar. You'll see that he's from the New Era expansion, the New Age expansion as well, which is why I've superimposed this picture. He starts with level 1 and 2 breaches open. Level 1 is an Ancient Breach. So when he uses his charge ability, then you'll see that he gets to add a Surge token onto his Ancient Breach, meaning that any casted spell from that breach does +1 damage for each Surge token on there. I love that. And you can just build it up over the course of the game, and then you see that he's got 2 special starting cards, the Tidal Surges, gain a charge. That's not a great spell in and of itself, but I feel like this is one of the characters where it's absolutely the most worth using his charge ability, because you can have a level 1 breach that does up to +10 damage per spell that you cast from it. Your sparks go from 1 damage to 11. That's amazing and very, very fun to play with. So Gygar comes in at my number 4. My number 3 is Desmodia. She is from the War Eternal set, a very popular mage, I guess, from my understanding. Special card here, gain 2 ether that cannot be used to gain a relic or a spell. So in other words, get another gem or get more charges, right? I often use this as just a free charge every round because her charge ability is so very fun. You can destroy anyone's open level 1 or 2 breach and replace it with one of these sigil breaches. The sigil breach is just worth +2 damage for any casted spell, any spell cast from there. And so you can basically level up your entire team. This is one of the coolest ways to be cooperative, is to beef up the other breach mages at the table. And I think that this is super fun. You can use it on yourself, you can use it on others, you can make any mage basically a powerhouse by having Desmodia on the team. So I feel like it's really worth it to use their charge ability. I find it super fun. I don't feel like I'm just assisting because I can also beef up myself, or I can become such a gem powerhouse and just, fill this thing up super quick. But then I can also handle those Nemesis objective cards that come out that require money. So I don't know. Desmodia is very fun to play. Therefore, my number 3. My number 2, Aeon from the original set here. Very simple. Nothing really tricky about this person, but I really like this one. Cast any player's prepped spell without discarding it, then cast that spell again and then discard it. only costs 4 charges. That is so useful, especially later in the game, obviously as you get the more powerful spells out and everything, or if you can manage to pull off, you know, getting an early large spell. I really like this. This is just so much fun. It's easy to take out one of those minions, you know, in a single shot, basically, by using it as a double shot. You know, their starting card, gain an ether, gain additional ether that can only be used to gain a gem. That's cool, right? And then, you know, you get more money, you can fire this off more often. It also starts with 2 open breaches. So Aeon is just all around really powerful. I'm pretty sure like one of the most, I mean, I assume one of the most objectively like powerful mages in the game, I assume, and therefore probably very popular, but I really like playing with him, what can I say? So my number 2, Aeon. And then my number 1 is Kadir from the original set as well. I really like these original mages. Even though they're very straightforward, I also enjoy and I appreciate some of their straightforwardness because they're just powerful. I really waffled between my number 2 and my number 1, but because they do very similar things. Kadir here says that with 5 charges, you can activate during any player's main phase. They may return up to 3 spells in their discard pile into breaches. Also, their breaches can hold 2 spells each. So basically, you're setting up a mega turn for anybody, which is so great. If you need to drop the Nemesis down like 26 health in a single turn, boom! I mean, maybe it's, like I said, maybe this is kind of like a what's the opposite of power creep, where some of the first 2 mages were really powerful, and maybe I like them simply for that reason, that you can create these really good mega turns, eliminate an entire minion, you know, wipe out the Nemesis if they're at like a 1/3 health or 1/4 health. But I like being able to set up for that. Her card is cool. Gain an ether, or anyone gains a life, that can be useful. But boom! This thing is so good, and you know, it only costs 4 or like 5. So it costs 1 more than Aeon's ability, but also it can be a huge powerhouse move if you have a player set up correctly. So I like that even though it's really powerful, it can work for anybody, therefore it helps kind of build up that team cooperation and working. So that's why I really like this one. So anyway, that's my top 10 Breach Mages from the Aeon's End series. Like I said, my number 1 would be, of course, the one in Aeon's End Legacy that I created myself. But, you know, if you ever want to see Malbus McBoomstick and all his spoilers, then, you know, I'll take a picture or whatever. But this is a fun series. I really enjoy it. You know, there's also stories about each of the Breach Mages back here. If you ever want to, like, learn about the lore of the universe and stuff, it's cool. It's cool. I really like this series. So hope that was fun for you. If you want to see those. If you want to drop your own mages in your preferred order, any of them that you really like, put them in the comments below. So anyway, my name is Chris. You've been watching The Dice Tower. There's another top 10 list, so thank you so much. Have a great day.